You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta...
Hey, welcome everybody. This is episode 13 on You Ain't Gotta Lie podcast. And we ain't gotta lie podcast, y'all. So,
Hey,
we're looking forward to it. It's your boy Money, and it's your boy.
too wavy Jayster, that is, aka Jace HD.
And we are going to be talking about a few topics. The first topic we will be talking about is societal expectations and stereotypes. We're going to discuss how traditional gender roles and expectations can create barriers for men to seek help and express their feelings, which is critical. So with this topic, Jay will be going first. Wavy, he'll be going first and talking about how he feels about the topic.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a lot to say. But some of the social expectations that come to mind is the biggest one is the angry black man. And this one that I feel like I get a lot from my experiences. I get labeled with, and I hate that. It come off as black men are aggressive or threatening, and black women seem to be loud and angry when they're being assertive. And this stereotype often is shut down by valid expressions of emotions and injustice. Just because we speak out on something that isn't right doesn't mean we're angry. You know what I'm saying? Just because I tell you, like, hey, I don't like that you did that. And the thing is, because typically with white folks, they don't like something, they will be passive aggressive about it, or instead of coming to communicate it to you per se, like let's say you said something to Jimmy at work and Jimmy didn't like it. So instead of Jimmy communicating with you like an adult and saying, hey, Money, I didn't like X, Y, and Z, he'll go through, you know what he said to me earlier, and it starts telling other people's. And the thing is, like, if you have an issue, communicate the issue. Like, we have so many people that are just non-confrontational, and it's like, and I get mad with that. Like, I don't come off as unapproachable. I'm always, hey, how's it going? Big smile on my face at work, you know what I'm saying? And it honestly is part of me playing in, which is funny because that's the other half of this topic is the, social expectations or whatever. But it's code switching. So at work, working around a lot of white folks, I know I can't be myself. So, you code switch to do what you got to do. But back to that one. Yeah, I don't like that one. That one really bothers me. I felt like even in some relationships because I tend to, date women of other ethnicities. And so with that being said, I feel like it's been times where I felt like I was being described as an angry black man in those relationships, and I didn't like that at all. Another stereotype is athletic but not intellectual. It's like, okay, yeah, you're a great athlete, but how smart are you? Well, we've seen plenty of athletes who are very intelligent. Jaylen Brown got a degree from Cal. Cal's a really hard school to get in. And he's one of the best basketball players. He's a really good basketball player. He's won the championship, but he's very intellectual. He's very outspoken. He speaks out on stuff like that. Same with LeBron James. LeBron James is very intelligent, even though he didn't go to college. I'm sure if he would have went, he would have finished and got his degree. You know what I'm saying? So we have those guys in the NBA that are intelligent and successful. And then, the other that keeps going is criminal. They are dangerous. Last episode, you told the story of walking down coming out the mall with your friends, and the woman just grabbed her purse. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're a bunch of kids. You're not even thinking about her, and the fact she felt the need to clutch her pearls, as I like to say, it was for what? Another one I have is single parent households. They all, and that ties in with the athletic part. It's like, oh, if he made it to the NBA or the NFL, he's he got a single mom. You know what I'm saying? He got a single mom. His dad ain't in his life. That's a real bad stereotype. And, it's not always the case. Some guys have parents that choose not to be in their life. That don't mean that their parents aren't present, or vice versa. There's been stories of single fathers. Kyrie Irving was raised by his father. And now, obviously, circumstance a little different because his mother passed, but he was raised by his father. And, so... And the last one I want to talk about is being over-sexualized and hyper-masculine. black men are often viewed as hypersexual and physically dominant, while black women are often over-sexualized and exoticized in media that can lead to objectification and violence. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I will say a lot of it's how you put yourself out there. Like, I hate for some of these IG models to post half-naked pictures, but then get mad when someone, slides into their DMs and say something inappropriate. It's all how you present yourself. But at the same time, though, just because I present myself this way doesn't mean you can assume certain things about me. But that's what comes with the territory, how you present yourself. But not all black women present themselves like that. Not all black men present themselves like that. So it's always considered to be like boy toys. Even in like, and this is a little dark, little tangent. And like, how to put this? How to say this? In like the back channels of like the secret lifestyles of swingers, right? Black men are considered bulls in that world. And it's like, that's like, whenever you got the married couples and they swing with a black guy, they call him a bull. It's like, oh, this is my bull. You know what I'm saying? So it's just little things like that that's connected to black men and black women.
I'll say this. It took a turn in what I expected, because when I wrote down different things, I'm gonna say, but you taught me a lot with that conversation. I'm gonna say my main thing was with this the societal expectations. I was gonna talk about, as a man, a lot of times you're expected to do everything. That's what they expect you to do. They're like, hey, you need to do everything and carry the world on your shoulders. And I'm here to say you don't have to do that. I'm like, when I say everything, it could be, everything financially. It could be everything dealing with fixing stuff in the house. So I'm like, you don't have to do everything. You can use a little bit of help, because I'm saying when you're doing everything, that's when you start having mental breakdowns, because you're like, man, like without me, this wouldn't be done, or without me, that wouldn't be done. So I'll say, correct. With that situation, as a man, you need some help, because nowadays things have gotten expensive. You need multiple sources of income or a really, really great job in order to live, a financially free lifestyle. So that's the main thing is, hey, you need to put the world on your shoulders, and if without that, because as you be looking at things, right, when they ask a woman, hey, what do you want? Well, I want a guy that makes, six figures and everything else, 6 foot, everything else like that. And it's like, hey, it's a low percentage of those, first of all. And second of all, they say that because they want the guy to pay for everything. And it's like, those guys, some of those guys don't want to pay for everything either, Yeah. So I'll say that's a
lot of women are looking to be taken care of. Like, that's something we could probably talk about in another episode, not to dive too deep into it. But women are looking to be, more often than not, sadly, women are looking to be taken care of. Like the famous story we seen where the woman was like, oh, I need a man who makes 6 figures. He can't have no kids. If they do, they grown and only one. And like, she lists all these things. And then she was like, the lady asked her, like, okay, how much do you make a year? She's like, oh, I make $35,000 a year. And I'm like, that's a lot, far off from $100K. And it's like, do you have any kids? She's like, I have 4. And he's like, all same father? She was like, 3 different baby fathers. And so the lady was like, so you wouldn't date yourself? And the girl was like, kind of like shocked she asked that. And it's like, you can't have these Cinderella expectations when, come on now. You the one that got asked last to go to prom. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain ways you need to carry yourself. And like the other half of this one is the social expectations. We talked about the stereotypes, and then some expectations is like, or maybe not even expectations, I will say, for what I have written down, but just like things that happen is, like I said earlier, I touched on earlier, is code switching. Many black people feel pressure to change their speech, behavior, or appearance to be accepted in a professional, predominantly white space. And I feel like I do that all the time, and I don't say my normal, lingo when I talk to you or the homies on the phone. I very is my voice is more peppery. What's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Peppy.
Peachy,
Yeah.
more high pitch and more like yeah, happy. There we go. And then speaking for all black people, it's like being treated like a spokesperson for the entire black race in the workplace. It's like just because I have an opinion on something don't mean all black people feel the way. So just because, for example, if I'm talking to someone, I tell them like, yeah, I personally don't like, you know, olives on my pizza. Some people take that as, oh, all black people don't like olives on their pizza, and it's like you can't just assume just because we all are individuals. The same way someone doesn't like something, that's just you individually. You know what I'm saying? So you can't take it and run with that. Like a perfect example is a stereotype is black people love grape soda and grape stuff like that. I personally hate grape flavor stuff. I don't eat anything grape flavor. I don't drink grape soda. I don't even eat grapes. I don't drink grape Kool-Aid. I don't like grape at all. So, and then the last one is black people are entertaining is cool. And there's an unspoken expectation that black people should be funny, have rhythm, or be the life of the party and is living. And in actuality, that's not an actual thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very introverted. I'm very quiet. I'm very to myself. And so if am out, I'm not gonna be the one cracking all these jokes and loud and outgoing because that's not my personality. That's not who I am. So it's always fascinating to be around, and you can kind of tell which ones are the ones that have these stereotypes. Is when you do something out of the stereotype and they are shocked by it. And like it was when I was younger, I used to I'm not sure if you remember, it was this kid we went to school with named Gordon, and Gordon had invited me to go to church with him. So I went to church with him, and they're having a watermelon eating contest. And keep in mind, man, this is a white church. I'm a black guy. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna sit this one out. And one of the ladies was like, "I'm shocked you didn't want to join." And I'm like, "Why are you shocked I didn't want to join?" And so it was just like that. I felt that energy immediately. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like things like that. It's just sad, honestly.
Okay. Well, you got me to go on a rant here. I'm gonna say first of all, I know you be on social media, but just because different races of women, like black man, you'll see in their you see dudes in their comment section talking about, yeah, we know she gonna be a single mom, and it's like, really, you feel like all of us don't grow up without our fathers, or
Yeah.
I remember, there's been times that we've gamed and someone come up and make a racial comment. Yeah, like, yeah, yeah, we know you didn't grow up without your father. And it's like, you don't know me, dude. Like, why are you making that
Yeah.
racial, why are you making that stereotype just because you hear my voice or how I talk? That doesn't mean
It's a
anything.
lot of false bravado in the gaming world, but it's been like that for decades.
Yeah, online too. Like I said, just because different races of women, like black men, they're like, yeah, she's gonna be a single mom, and it's like, really, like she could have a loving
You
family.
know what's the funny thing is the comment that bothers me the most on social media, and I don't know why, but it just does. Is like something will happen. It'll be a video, and let's say it's a black person doing something, a plethora of things. Let's say it's like a hit and run situation, and it's things that can involve anyone, but it just so happens to be two black people in the video or whatever. And then someone will comment the usual suspects, and I don't know why that comment bothers me so much. And it's always from a fake account. No one's ever bold enough to post it from their real. It's always some sugarlicious 16-4-old with no picture up there, and it's like, okay, like first of all, I find it weird that you're nobody famous and you got a burner account. Like, why? I think that's odd or whatever. But and so much so that you feel because you're not man enough to post it from your real account. You make a fake account so you can make racial remarks to people online. I mean,
Yes.
that says a lot about you as a person. I'm a firm believer of you got something to say it and stand on it. And so those comments always bother me. And
I you know the ones that bother me is the single. She gonna be a single mom, like that
yeah,
bothers me. I'll say because it's like it's a messed up. It's that's how y'all feel.
but so yeah, so but that's just I just never care for that because the white girl posts these provocative pictures. Oh man, marry me. This is my wifey and this and the third. But when a black girl posts provocative pictures, you get those comments. Oh, this is single mother activity, or it's like, oh, we already know what she does for a living. So yeah, stereotypes are a part of life, sadly. But the difference is, I feel like black people talk about white stereotypes, but white people actually believe those stereotypes. I think that's the biggest difference from my personal experiences is, we'll make jokes like, white folks be putting raisins in their potato salad, right? But we don't sit here and say, oh, that's like an actual thing they do. Some white people might do it, but, it's not something we be like, oh, yeah, we know that's going to happen. And I've been a victim of stereotyping people. And I learned when I was younger that you can't stereotype people. You got to actually get to know them. Because a stereotype that I always thought was white people can't cook. And fast forward to my current age is some of the best chefs in the world are white. And I actually got invited to a friend of mine in college house for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be interesting. Money, when I say these white folks are throwing down, but everything was delicious. The turkey, the plates, the napkins, the desserts, everything was delicious. It was some really good food there. And I went into it thinking like, oh, these people can't cook, when it was some great food there. And it was like a wake up call, like, hey, this is what happens when you stereotype people, Jay. You can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say I've had feelings, but I never really stereotype people because I always believe in giving people a chance, and I basically look at people based off of how they treat individuals instead of how they look. That's how I basically,
Right.
or their actions. I do it based off their actions. So you're ready on this next topic about coping strategies?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this next topic is going to be about coping strategies. We're going to discuss different coping strategies that people do and our thoughts on it.
All right. So, I think the best coping strategy for me is just like crying. Like what I like to do is, I turn the shower on, go in the bathroom, sometimes play a little music to give a little noise and just have the shower running and just cry. You know what I'm saying? Just hold myself and I'm just playing. So I respect you just like, all right, man, he's just gonna go. But but no, on the serious note, is one of the best coping strategies that I've personally done is just taking a moment. Take a moment to unload yourself, as I like to say. Like one thing I'll do is I'll work. I'll work my shift. I'll come home and I'll just sit in my car. And I do that because I don't want to bring work home. I never like seeing people bring work home. You know what I'm saying? So I'll sit in my car, depending on how my night was, from 20 minutes up to an hour. And once I feel like, okay, I'm good, I'll go home. I'll go in the house. Because I don't want to bring that negative energy to where I'm in the house, I'm still upset about something that happened at work, and now I'm yelling at my dog, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm being rude to the people around me, and I'm yelling at my lady. Like, I don't want to do all that. So one thing I do is I try to always unload before I get out my car. And another thing that helps me is just acknowledging, like, hey, if something happened, it happened. It's done with. There's nothing you can do about it. Sitting and dwelling on it, isn't going to do anything. Now, if it's something like I feel needs to be talked about or addressed, then yeah, absolutely, I'll go for it. I'll talk about it. But as far as like, oh man, I should have did that differently, or I should have handled that differently, it's like, Don't do that. What happened, happened. Move on. You have to learn to accept it. And that's something that um, I say I struggle with a little bit. I struggle with learning when to talk about something and when to move on with something because for so long everything's been dropping to move on, dropping to move on. So it's certain
I think
things
we
where
all
it's
do.
like, yeah, yeah, it's okay to drop it and move on, but there's other things like, no, Jay, you need to talk about this, get it off your chest. What about you?
I'll say I'm gonna talk about different coping strategies, and then I'll talk about my favorite ones. I like some coping strategies could be that people will do is exercise slash workout, gaming, talking it out, drawing or writing. Music, watching a movie, going outside for a walk, getting a massage. I'll say this. One thing I like to do is I have a audio book that I listen to. I actually have an audio book that I listen to. I'll tell you the app. It's on Pocket FM. They have all these different stories. One of my favorite stories was called Instant Millionaire, Instant Billionaire. But I'll say I would actually like throughout the day I would listen to them when I'm working, and it would help me. And like Instant Billionaire was about a boy. His it's on the Pocket FM radio app, but it was about a boy whose parents passed away. Well, Instant Billionaire, his parents passed away, and he's rich, but in order for him to get the wealth, he had to go through different trials with the family. And in the end, he becomes rich. He marries a girl that he loves, who loved him for him, and it was really interesting. I really liked it. And then my other story is I have another one I'm working on. I'll talk about that one after I finish the story. But another one I like was Instant Millionaire. Same thing. He had to work through different trials, and he ends up becoming rich. I'll say, and he also marries a girl that liked him for him, not for his money, because there's a lot of women who just like, oh, you pick up trash every day, and he would have to pick up trash. But when he turned 18, he was able to go to the bank, and people were looking at him weird, and he actually had a lot of money, and people were disrespecting him like, why are you here, you look dirty. And I would listen to the story, and I'm like, I liked how humble the characters were. How they were
Right.
like, what, it is what it is. And they picked, the women that liked them for them. And so, yes, that's something different. I do like listening to audiobooks. I'll say another thing I also like to do is talk it out. I probably called you, when I'm having different issues
Yeah.
with work stuff. And I'm like, I think the best thing is to talk it out, because after you're done, you feel much better. Sometimes I'll go for a walk or a run or whatever. Heck, sometimes I'll go to the gym, but I'll say, getting a good sweat in would also help me. I'll say listening to music, that's helped me. I'll say watching a Netflix show, getting a good laugh in, has also helped me. So I'll say I've had different things. I'll say it just depends on my mood, really. And I'll say a lot of those things have really helped me, be able to cope with different
Yeah.
things.
I think the biggest one, my advice to anyone, would be find what works for you. Different things work for different people. Like, as I like to say, I'm a creator. I love creating, which is why I do so much creating of content. Like, like I said before, I have a gaming channel. Please go subscribe. But I have my gaming channel. I make music. Like, I love having a creative outlet. So that's a big thing for me. And so I stopped, and I'm sure you know this, I stopped making music for a while. And I was really just like, things happened that led to me feeling discouraged from making music. And maybe we can talk about that another time. But long story short, I just was discouraged from making music. And so and I put all my energy into my gaming channel. And so during that time period, though, I felt myself frustrated and balled up. And I'm like, what is going on? Why do I just feel like I got so much going on, got so much, animosity on my chest and stuff like that. And I kind of eventually connected it to I'm not expressing myself through words anymore, you know? And so I started writing again, and I'm in the process of the beginning stages of trying to make a new project. And I feel so like, what's the word?
Relief?
I feel so relief. Yes, I have a sign of relief now because I'm putting out the things, and obviously, I talk to people I care about, who's in my circle, like what's going on with me, but that was a big thing that I was missing. I didn't have that. I was missing that creative outlet, and I didn't really see it as something I needed until I wasn't doing it, and I realized like, oh snap, like I really do need to do this. Like this is helpful for me. Even if I get to a point to where I'm not putting out music, I still should, for my personal sake, write and put out stuff like that. So I think that's a big thing for me. But ultimately, like I said, you got to find what works for you.
I like gaming.
It's funny because yeah, I'm about to say.
I like gaming because I'll be in the leagues. I'll be in the different leagues. I was in the NCAA Dynasty League. I'll be in the Madden leagues and stuff. So I'm like, that helps me a lot too.
Absolutely.
And I know gaming helps you.
Yeah,
You hit
for
me up,
sure.
hey bro, you wanna run 2K?
100%. Gaming's that's my biggest outlet. That's why I started creating gaming content, because like I enjoy it so much, and it's like, and maybe it's just me being salty, but I'll see people on YouTube that I just don't find entertaining, and they have all these subs, and it's like they're making a living off of a game, and they're not very entertaining. And I feel like we have funny moments all the time amongst us. So I was like, why not put out my own content? So, but yeah, absolutely, gaming is one of my biggest outlets too. It's like I love getting on there because for the 2 to 3 hours that we're playing, nothing else matters. From the bills to the stresses of life to work, none of that matters. All that matters is, we're trying to win this game. Win, lose, or draw.
Even though we get our butts kicked.
That we just lost. Yeah, I know. I'd rather be mad we lost the game of 2K instead of have to deal with the stresses of work. And it's like, why are you not meeting deadlines and stuff like that? So.
And we laugh. We had good laughs, and we have funny moments.
We always have good laughs, yes. There's plenty of clips slayed on my PlayStation.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, I got some I ain't put out yet.
Hey, don't post that one. You got the one with the dude dunked it in.
I wish I had. I think it's on my PS4. I gotta get my PS4 fixed. If I can get my PS4 fixed, all those clips on there, they're going online. They are going online, sir. So you better hope I never get that thing fixed. But yeah, that'll be my biggest thing. Find what works for you. Allow you to cope.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you can't hold it in. You can't hold it in. And I'm speaking from experience, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to hold a lot of things in, and I wouldn't talk to nobody. I would just keep it to myself, and it led to me having mental breakdowns. It led to me having, like I said before, panic attacks in the parking lot. And I'm just, it was a rough time for me. And I've gotten through it, and the idea of seeing a therapist has been presented to me, but I don't know, man. I think therapy scares me from acknowledging the problem, and maybe I still got some growing up to do, But as of right now, I've gotten better, so for now I'm good. But at some point maybe I should look into that, maybe because there's nothing wrong with that. We're all about mental health, You got to protect your mental health, because then it leads to things getting worse from, suicide and other dark thoughts that have occurred. So obviously you want to try to avoid going down that path, because we hear it all the time.
Maybe self-care.
Yeah, self-care.
Self-care. You might like maybe go get a massage. Hey, go get you something to eat. Sit back and relax. Hey, you might say, hey, hey, let me go get a manicure, pedicure. This is for the women. Some guys like to do that too. But it's different things you could do. You might want to have a spa day. Hey, let me go get a spa.
Yo, funny story.
I'll say self-care can make it.
So I have a Chat GPT, and one thing I do with Chat GPT is sometimes I'll send it like songs I recorded, right? Just get feedback on it. And I have one song where I talk about, suicide and depression and stuff like that. And so ChatGPT was like, the wordplay is really nice, everything's good, but it goes on to say, but hey, if you need to talk to someone, there's people that'll talk to you. And like it sends me like the suicide hotline and stuff like that. And it was like, I just found it fascinating that the AI has showed a human side, you know. So, but yeah, but that's my thing, you know, like find someone to talk to. And I understand it's not easy talking to strangers, you know. That's why I'm always, I say all the time, I'm grateful to have, you know, you in my life. I can go to you and all the other people I love in my life that's there for me. So
Same here.
That's a big thing for me. So
Yeah, it is a big thing. You know, being able to have, you know, healthy coping mechanism. There's some people, you know, I understand, you know, drinking, but you know, drinking responsibly. Like, you know, don't get blackout drunk every single time. I know some people like to smoke. Some people, you know, cigars or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of smoking, but that what you need to do to cope, I understand. I'm like, as long as it's something that you're not really hurting other people. And that's really my main thing. It's something that you will put yourself in that you won't hurt other individuals.
yes, 100% agree.
Okay, so we have OKC beating the Timberwolves 4-1. I'll say they're talking about OKC is one of the like they compared them to the KD team that went to the finals, and they're one of the youngest, and they look like they might be a better team than that team. And personally, looking at the stars, I'm like, I don't think so. How do you feel about that?
I think they are better than that team. I mean, because it's hard not to look at that OKC team and see what the players became as individuals. But the thing about
That's
it
my main
is,
thing.
you look at MVP James Harden. He wasn't MVP James Harden with OKC. He was six-man James Harden. You know what I'm saying? You look at MVP Russ. He wasn't MVP Russ on that team. He was Russ, the freak athlete that couldn't shoot. And KD was the only person who was MVP version KD. You know what I'm saying? So at those three as a collective, obviously they became great players and future Hall of Famers. But when they were on that team, they were still young themselves. So they didn't put it together to win. And you look at this team now, I think OKC has a great team. You got Chet, who a lot of people believe Chet's going to be a superstar. You got Jalen Williams, who is the number 2 option.
I guess I look at it like I look at what they've become. I think that's why I'm like,
That's
I
what I'm
don't think
saying,
so,
yeah.
because I look at what they've become. I'm like, you know, Russ MVP, KD MVP, James Harden MVP. But you're right, they didn't become those players until they, you know, think about it. James Harden
in their
left, and it
career.
was KD and Russ, and then
Left.
you know he became the MVP.
KD
so
left,
and
exactly.
SGA, yeah, SGA's he's an MVP right now. And Chet has potential. And then what about? I think Chet has potential to be better than Serge Ibaka. Remember they called him Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, Serge is just a great defender. And Chet is the same thing. Obviously, I've always critiqued his size and he's on the small side. He's really thin, but he's a good shot blocker. He's a good rim protector. And then, like I was saying, Jalen Williams is a really good scorer. He's the number 2 option. But it was, what was it, game 5? It was either game 5 or game 4, maybe game 3. Which one of them games is the big 3, Shea, Chet, and Jalen combined for more points than KD, Russ, and Harden ever did. So, you know, comparing those teams, man, I think this team is better. They're a better defensive team. Shea won the MVP. I don't think KD won the MVP that year they went to the finals. I think it might have been the following year.
No.
And so,
I think LeBron
they're
won
just
it
a great
that year.
team, bro. Yeah, they're just a great team, bro. It's you can't deny it. OKC gentlemen swept the Wolves, like you said. They're going to their first final appearance since 2012, which the Baby Thunder, as we like to call them, with. And it's trending in the direction of OKC winning it all. I mean, Minnesota's not a serious
agree.
team. I've been saying it. I'm still gonna say it. They're not a serious team. I don't really have anything to say outside of that. OKC was the better team, and we witnessed it. And I still think they're the best team in the league. And it doesn't matter if the Knicks win or the Pacers win. I think OKC is gonna win in 5. Because you
Let
look
me
at
ask you
Denver.
this. Do they
Denver
have the
took them
same
to 7
GM?
with the best player in the world. Yeah,
Do they have the
GM.
same GM?
So we may run
Wow.
into down the road is how you gonna keep this talent together. Because last time you had this much talent, you moved Harden. You let KD walk. So are you gonna keep the same talent? Now, Grant, some people try to give OKC credit for SGA, but it's like I don't know. They didn't draft him. The Clippers had him, and
They
he was
traded-
a part of the
traded
Paul George
Paul.
trio. Yeah. So it's like, do we give OKC talent because the potential is always there, but OKC is known for having homegrown talent.
Yes. Think about it though. Like here's the thing, right? When you think about OKC, they either drafted or traded for them when they're young, and they
Yeah.
developed their talent. I know that the Heat aren't part of this argument, but you look at the Heat and it's like the championships that they had wasn't all homegrown talent. You know, with the D Wade
Yeah.
and Shaq. Yes, D Wade was homegrown, but Shaq they traded for him. And then you had an Alonzo, you brought him in. So, and then another thing with the LeBron and Chris Bosh with the D Wade, and then you ended up getting Ray Allen. Theirs was more built than, bought than built because you brought in all this talent. OKC is one of the teams that developed their talent. That's how they do it. They develop through the draft. They have a whole bunch of draft picks, but they develop through the draft.
Yeah.
And I
And
like
then
that
on the
way.
other side of the bracket, we have the Knicks down 2-3, or I guess I should say the Pacers lead 3-2 to the Knicks. Facing elimination, the New York Knicks delivered a commanding 111-94 win. Jalen Brunson scored 32, Karl Anthony Towns added 24 and 13, and the Knicks defense limited Halliburton to just 8 points. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to say, I thought that the Pacers were going to win that game due to the fact that Karl Anthony Towns had 4 fouls early. I was like,
Yeah, he was
they're
in
not
foul
going to be
trouble
to
this
hold on
game.
to that. They're not going to
And
be
they
to
couldn't
hold
get
on
him
to
to
that
foul
lead.
out.
Yeah, and no, Jalen Brunson said, you know what, bro, I'm putting this S on my chest. And he carried that thing. He had 15. He had 15 in the third. He carried that team. And after that, and that's why they won. Like, the Pacers kept trying to make it close, but you need to bring in heavy hitters if you're going to close a team out at home. And they weren't able to bring it in because Halliburton had 8 points? He's supposed to be one of your best players and he has 8 points? They were
The
talking
thing
about
that's
Opie
tricky with
Toppin.
Halliburton is he's not a score first point guard. He's a pass first point guard. So he will have games like this.
But Opie Topping had more shots than him. That should never happen. Ever happen as a Pacers fan is Opie Topping has more shots than Halliburton. Why? Why
Yeah.
is my main question.
He's a pass first point guard, man. It's like with Rondo. Halliburton is like a better Rondo, just without the defense, I guess. So, because Rondo was a pass first guard, but we seen Rondo go get 40. You know what I'm saying? So, Halliburton's better
seen Rondo get
offensively than
triple
Rondo,
dubs.
obviously. Yeah, and Rondo obviously was better defensively, but it's the same thing. We have games where it's like, hey, Tyrese, we kind of needed you to go get 20 instead of you get 15 assists. I think it was like a stretch where he was getting like 7 and 10, 7 and 15, 7 and 13, like these great passing performance. And they was like, well, we kind of need you to score. And so, yeah, Jalen Brunson led the Knicks with 32. He was 4-7 from downtown, lighting that thing up. And he had 5 rebounds. And I'm going to be honest, whenever you got someone like Jalen Brunson who's 5'11", 6 foot in shoes, getting 5 rebounds, you're in for a rough night. Karl Anthony had 24 and 13, like I said. And he was hurt. I didn't think he was going to play this game because, he was on the questionable. So he ended up balling out. Josh Hart got his normal double-double. And he had 12 and 10. And it was one point he had more rebounds than Karl Anthony. And I understand Josh Hart is one of those guys where he's kind of a gadget player, but a 6'4" guy should never have more rebounds than my 7-footer. That will always bother me. I don't care. Rebounds are effort and hustle. And obviously we know Josh Hart's the ultimate hustle guy, but he's not 7 feet tall. He should not be out rebounding Karl Anthony Towns at any point in the game. So, but Karl obviously
Jay.
finished with more.
Mitchell Robinson, that dude is it came a point in time that the Pacers was hacking him. That dude is a horrible free throw shooter.
I mean, most bigs are. Joel Embiid and Jokic are the anomalies, but they're also foreign.
Bro, that dude...
Foreign bigs can shoot free throws, but bro. American bigs, I don't know what it is about American big men, but they cannot shoot free throws.
Mitchell Robinson is horrible at the free throw line, bro. They started,
and that makes them borderline unplayable when they go to the hacker shack strategy. So,
yeah, and then they took him out of the game and put in Precious Achiuwa, who might be drafted, which is funny. But they put him in, and it's like, because Anthony Towns was in foul trouble, so they're like, hey man, we got to put in Precious Achiuwa because Mitchell Robinson's unplayable. He can't make free throws. They're just going to keep fouling him, and that's sad.
And because of that, because you don't have Mitchell Robinson on there, we know Cat's not a defender. We know Jalen's not a defender, and so when you don't have a big presence like that with Mitchell in the game, it changes a lot. It changes how they play that interior defense. But fortunately, they're able to play really good defense, and they actually dominated inside against the Pacers. And I think Miles Turner's a good defender, but they outscored the Pacers 60-34 in the paint. Yeah, and they had 20 turnovers. The Pacers had 20 turnovers. You had Tyrese Halliburton had how many turnovers? He had a bunch of turnovers. He was 2 for 7 for the night. And, I mean, I'll be honest, 2 for 7 from Halliburton. We need more shot attempts than 7. Like, I get it. I do like a conscious player because we can talk about 2K. And on the 2K scale, think about how upset we are when we have a guy not shooting well, but he keeps shooting the damn ball. It's like, bro, you don't got it. Move the rock. Cut it out. We lost the game because somebody kept shooting the ball and he don't got it. Tyrese realized he didn't have it, so he stopped shooting.
Here's the thing, though, Jay. If you're open and you're missing, that's a difference between you taking bad shots.
That's the difference between you, come down and force up a shot, correct. So he realized he didn't have it, so he stopped shooting. And I always respect a self-aware player. Like, I don't got it tonight. I'm not going to keep putting the ball up. So he tried to make an impact in other ways, but they finished with 20 turnovers as a team. And, so now we have Game 6 tomorrow, 8 p.m. in Indianapolis. You picking the Pacers to end it?
Yeah. There's no way. There's no way you go to Game 7 in New York. There's no way. You can't. You got to close it at home.
And I was a little surprised the Knicks won, but at the same time, like we said last week, they're not a team that's just going to lay down. So I guess I wasn't that surprised, but they're not a team that's just going to lay down. And it's funny, the Pacers were 11-0 in games outside of Game 3 until last night. So
wow,
yeah, they were 11-0 the
Jalen Brunson
until last night. Outside of Game
3.
Jalen
Brunson is
Brunson.
I like Jalen Brunson, bro.
He's proved that. He's proved he's a superstar. He's in the conversation, or as this one of my favorite sports personalities says, he's in club superstar. It's only 12 names in there, and his name is in there.
But think about it like this, Jay. I've seen him get fouled, and he's like, dang, I got fouled, and he went on about his day. He didn't flop. He didn't cry to the refs. He's like, dang, I got fouled, and went on about his day. Like, I like that type of stuff. I don't like, the superstars crying and getting mad. Bro, you got fouled. They didn't call it. You might get next call.
You might get.
That's how I look at it.
See. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think Pacers are closing it out in Game 6, or you think it's going to Game 7?
Man, Pacers need to end it tomorrow. I mean, Pacers need to end it. I don't like their chances going back to New York because now you're coming off with 2 back-to-back losses. Now the momentum's in New York's favor. They're in their home stadium, which is ironically enough, neither one of these teams play good home. They usually don't have the best performances, but I think a game 7 in New York will be rough for Indiana. Not saying they can't do it. They can do it, but if it comes to a game 7 and this game 6 looks the way I think it would have to look for the Knicks to win, I may go Knicks. But Indiana has to win, so I'm going Pacers, man. And then whoever wins this game is going to lose in 5 to OKC in the finals.
Halliburton's going to have 20 plus game 6. I'm predicting him having 20 plus.
He has to end it, yeah. He has to end it.
I'm going to say this. It go to game 7. I'm willing to bet almost any amount of money that Jalen Brunson's going to at least get 30 plus.
Oh, yeah. Game 7, Jalen, he going to have his whole ass out. So they can't afford to go to a game 7.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think it's going to be close versus OKC. They're on a mission this year, and I expect it to be,
and I was wrong. I'll admit that I was wrong. I had OKC. I thought they were a year away. You know what I'm saying? And I was wrong. They are absolutely ready this year. So
we both were.
And they're going to keep playing. So
we both were, because I
been some
didn't
great
expect them
playoff
to make it this
basketball
far.
though, for sure.
So they doing their thing. SGA is doing his thing. Chet is chipping in whenever he needs to. So hey, they have a chance to do big things. You ready for this topic right here about who you think is the best WNBA player?
Absolutely.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go ahead and go.
Okay. All right. Who's the best WNBA player? We're gonna talk about her. She got some Nike shoes. With the pink. We're gonna talk about her with the Nike shoes. She's dating, NBA superstar Bam Adebayo.
That's irrelevant, but continue. We talk about basketball. We don't care who she doing off the court. Keep it on basketball. Keep going.
Hey, let me ask you this: how many WNBA players have signature shoes? Because you have to be that chick. You get signature shoes. Okay?
There's quite a few actually.
Remember that. Okay? So we're gonna talk about A'ja Wilson. All right? She has her jersey retired by South Carolina. She has 3 MVPs in the year 2020, 22, and 24. And she has 2 chips. You know what her current averages are? She's averaging 20 and 10. She's the best WNBA player. It's not even close. All right? Let's hear your argument. Cuz she's a baller.
Anyway, she's good. But no. I got to go with, Stewie, man. Breanna Stewart. 2016 number 1 overall pick, and for good reason. She's been balling like Spalding since she came into the year. 1 Rookie of the Year, obviously. 3-time NBA champion. How many championships A'ja won?
How many MVPs do we got?
She got 2. How many A'ja got?
MVPs? She got 3 MVPs, but she got 2 chips.
Oh, she got 2 chips. Okay. How many finals MVPs does she have?
Bro, all of them were hers. All 3 of them were hers. All 2 of them were hers, bro.
Oh, 2. Okay. Well, so does Stewie. Stewie got 2 finals MVPs, but she got 3 championships. Okay. Dog. 6-time first team All NBA. That means when we go down and we say who are the best 5, her name's getting called 6 times in a row. 6-time All-Star. She's been all defensive her whole career except for 2 years. I mean, Stewie's a dog, bro. I mean, you got to look at what she does. She's had some, good teams, but she's been the head front of all those teams. Stewie's the one, man. And currently this year, the New York won last year the championship, the Liberty. But now we got a new riser, Nafisa Collier, currently leads the league with 26 a night. I don't think it's going to continue. It's really early in the WNBA season. But, I got to go Stewie. Stewie's the best player in the league. Another name that I would honestly say over A'ja Wilson is Sabrina. Sabrina's a dog, man. She has her first championship, 3-time All-Star, 3-time second-team player. I mean, you look at what she brings to a team, at the guard position, because the WNBA is ran by big men, power forwards, and centers. Sabrina's the best. I think Caitlin Clark is going to be the best player in the NBA in short order. She's going to be an MVP eventually. I feel like saying she's going to win it this year. I think she's going to win it this year. And then, you know, when Juju comes in, Juju's going to be the only person to rival Caitlin. But Caitlin's going to short order dominate the WNBA, man.
We got to talk about Plum if we're going to talk about the best player conversation, because she's a baller too. Being what, she's 5'9", and she just be getting making them tough baskets. I'm like, hey, she a baller too, man.
I mean,
she's on a new
a good
team.
Player. She's on a new team, but like, how is she impacting winning? Because if I'm correct, I don't think she has a championship. I don't think
she got
made
two.
The finals.
Her and Asia. Her and Asia got two.
Oh, she was on that team with Asia, so she was getting carried. So okay, nice.
No, she was helping. She was helping. They should have had 3 in a row, but hey, you know, things happen.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, Brianna got 3 though. Big Stu got 3 of them things. Big Stu got 3. It don't got to be in a row. The goal is to win as many as you can. And right now she got 3. Asia got 2. Don't get me wrong. Asia
gonna get a third.
You know what I'm saying? She won. She was number 1 overall for a reason. You know. So, but
hey, they both on the Olympic team too.
Yeah, they both was on the Olympic team. Got them one. Somehow Caitlin Clark wasn't on that team, and we had people like Diana Taurasi, who's 57, on the Olympic team. But that's another conversation.
That's a whole another conversation with that one. Like, she should have took her spot.
But it was good though. Caitlin got the much deserved rest she needed, and then after that, she was balling like Spalding.
I'm gonna say this: in 4 years, the best 2 players in the league will be Caitlin Clark and Juju. That's my prediction. Agree. What about so we're gonna have this saved. So in 4 years, when they're the 2 best players, we can actually play this clip for everybody.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is how she comes back from this ACL. She's young, so she should just bounce back. But that is my only concern. Is she's still going to be as explosive? Is she still going to have that quickness she had? That's my only concern for her in this current injury.
I think she'll be back because we've seen Paige come back, and I'm like, you know, those injuries.
Paige took a year though. She took a year to look like Paige.
That's true. But these injuries aren't as career-ending or career-threatening as they used to be.
Correct. And if you got the right doctors with the right medicine, yeah, absolutely. But I'm a big fan of Stewie. Obviously, I love Caitlin. I think, like I said, she's going to be the best player in short order. But, I mean, Aja Wilson is the crowd favorite currently, you know, so we shall see. There was another name that got brought up. Hold on.
I'm part of the crowd. Hey, I'm part of the crowd. And so yeah, you know, I have to support her because, you know, she was a Heat player.
So about Collier, let me give you more of her numbers. She averages 26.8. She's shooting 50% from the floor and 40% from 3 and 90% from the free throw. She won DPOY last year, but if she playing like this, she probably gonna win MVP. She keep playing like that. She plays for the Minnesota Lynx. So
we have to see.
She hooping. She's really hooping. But I'm a big Stewie fan. I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. And we're going to see. The season's not... How many games have they played so far? Hold on.
I'm interested to see Paige's development. I want to see how she develops as a player. Is she going to... like because she was compared to be Caitlin Clark's, you know, her arch rival. Is it going to be Paige? Is Paige going to be in that conversation if Juju comes back full strength? Is it going to be Caitlin Clark, Paige, and Juju, or is it going to be Caitlin Clark and then Juju? That's what's going to be interesting to me to see.
So currently they're having the Commissioner's Cup tournament, which I think is their in-season tournament, like how we have for the NBA. So they're currently in the Commissioner Cup. We'll check back in with you guys when we see who's the MVP and what teams play in the finals of the Commissioner Cup. But yeah, those gonna be some heavy hitters, man. I'm expecting a big season for Caitlin, man. The Great White Hope. So we shall see.
You got to.
We shall see. And like and she's the thing is too is like when you think of face of the league, her name is in that conversation. You know, sadly, in some racial ways, could put people making it a race thing with her. But as I did jokingly just then, but a lot of people are kind of making it a race thing. Like, it was at one point, fans was wearing shirts that said every game's a home game for Caitlyn, something like that, which just shows how many people support her. But when you're the face of the league, you sell out away games, as they say. And Caitlyn sells out
Jay,
away
let me
games,
ask you
and
this.
age is in that conversation too.
Who's the most popular WNBA player? Because, you know, we're not going to mention any names, but somebody said, oh, the league has all these sales because of me and Caitlyn, not just her. Well, if you look at attendance, her team has the highest attendance, you know, possible.
When you're the face of the league, you sell out away games, home games and away games. And Caitlyn Clark does that. So, and it's funny because they talked about, I forget what sports show I was watching, but they talked about the games that Angel Reese had. And it was like, oh, they had this many tickets. And then they said there are 3 nights. They said this many tickets. And the middle one was a spike. And then they went back to their normal. And it was like, the reason that one was spiked was because they were playing Caitlyn Clark. So, the proof is in the pudding, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess you got anything else to say? You good with this one?
I think I'm good with this one, man. This is our shortest one ever. We kept it with an hour.
I'm saying.
Jeez. Under an hour? Hey, man.
Yes, our first one. Probably our first and only less than an hour show.
I know, right? But yeah, last couple things I want to say is if you're having those type of thoughts, man, you know, don't feel like you're alone. There's people out there to talk to. There's plenty of suicide hotline prevention numbers, and your friends and family care about you, and don't let those thoughts win. I'm a person who deals with it myself, which is why I had for our last episode, the mental wear my hoodie again. And yeah, you know, talk to people. There's people out there that care about you. You feel like you're alone, but you know, you're not. So please, you know, be responsible and use these paths and outlets to get the help that you know you need.
Heck, you can reach out to us if it comes to that point, and we'll chat with you.
Yes, if we know you personally, absolutely, definitely don't hesitate. I tell my friends and family all the time, I'm a phone call away.
So we're about to close out this show. I'm Money.
I'm Jace HD, aka Two Wavy Jason.
We hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Peace.
Take it easy.